Welcome to Grace in Your Quiet. I'm really glad you're here. Out of everything you could be doing right now, you found your way here. And maybe something in you needed this pause. This isn't just another night. There's something quieter happening here. A kind of gentle pull that slowed you down just enough to notice it. So just stay for a second. Let yourself land. Whatever today looked like, whether it felt full or unfinished, whether it held light or something heavier, you don't have to carry it the same way into this night, because here, nothing is asking anything from you. Nothing needs to be figured out. Nothing needs to be held together. This is your quiet place. And if you ever want to come back to something like this, you can subscribe. Just to keep a space like this within reach, you don't have to decide anything right now. It's just there. And right now, you're not unseen. You're not alone. You're not carrying this by yourself. So as we begin, you don't have to prepare anything. Just stay. Exactly as you are. Tonight, rest is not just something your body needs. It becomes something deeper. A quiet act of trust. Because when you close your eyes, you're not giving up control. You're releasing it. You're choosing to believe that you don't have to hold everything through the night, that even while you sleep, something greater is still at work. So instead of staying alert, instead of replaying everything one more time, you can let your body come down and let your mind step back from trying to solve tomorrow, because peace doesn't wait for everything to be figured out. It meets you right here in the middle of what's still unclear. And what's ahead of you is not something you have to carry tonight. More is already being prepared than you can see. More is already unfolding than you can measure. So this moment, this simple act of resting, becomes a quiet declaration. I trust what I cannot see yet. And that trust, it's enough for tonight. And while everything seems still, there is more happening than you can see. Not in noise, not in urgency, but in quiet ways that don't draw attention to themselves. Even now, you are not unguarded. You are not exposed. You are not left alone in the dark. There is a covering around you. A protection that doesn't need to announce itself to be real. While your eyes begin to close, something else remains awake. Watching, standing, holding space around you with care you don't have to manage, so nothing has to feel unsafe here. Nothing has to feel uncertain in the same way it did before, because what surrounds you is stronger than what worries you, and what is being prepared for you doesn't depend on how much you can control tonight. Even in stillness, things are being aligned. Paths are being cleared. Moments are being set in place ahead of you. You don't have to see it. You don't have to track it. You don't have to stay awake to make sure it happens. You can rest, knowing that what you cannot see is still being taken care of. And maybe this is the point where you stop holding so tightly. Not because everything is resolved, but because you don't have to carry it the same way anymore. All the things you kept running through, what went right, what didn't, what still feels unfinished, you don't have to keep replaying them into the night. You can set them down. Not far away, just out of your hands. The pressure to get everything right. The weight of what's coming next. The quiet fear of not knowing how it will unfold. None of that has to stay on your shoulders right now. So instead of tightening around it, just loosen your grip. Even slightly. Let your breathing slow again. Let your body soften without needing a reason. You're not losing control. You're releasing what was never yours to carry alone. And in that space, your mind doesn't have to keep working. Your body doesn't have to stay alert. You can begin to settle. Not because everything changed, but because you did. And as things begin to slow, you might notice something else quietly still here with you. Not loud, not overwhelming, just present. Through everything today held, the movement, the conversations, the moments that passed quickly, you were not moving through it alone. Even in the parts that felt ordinary, there was something steady holding you there. And maybe you didn't stop to notice it then. That's okay. You can notice it now. The simple things that stayed with you, your breath, your strength to keep going, a place to return to tonight. None of it is small, because it all carried you here. To this moment, to this pause. So instead of rushing past it, just let yourself feel it. Not as something dramatic, just real, a quiet kind of care that never left. And maybe you don't have to look far to find what has been holding you. It's already here, in the breath you didn't have to think about, in the quiet that surrounds you now, in the simple fact that you made it through this day. Not everything felt easy, but you're still here, and that matters more than you give it credit for. So instead of holding on to what still feels unsettled, you can begin to shift your attention, not to ignore it, but to loosen its weight. What's been sitting on your mind? What keeps pulling your thoughts forward? You don't have to keep carrying it the same way. You can place it down, gently, without needing to solve it first. You don't have to keep turning it over. You don't have to keep checking it. You don't have to keep holding it close. It can rest somewhere outside of you now, and you can feel what it's like to not carry everything all at once. And as your body begins to settle, you don't have to stay on guard. You don't have to keep scanning for what might go wrong. You don't have to stay half awake just in case something shifts. Right now, you are allowed to feel safe, not because everything is certain, but because you are not unprotected. There is a kind of covering around you, steady, quiet, not fragile. It doesn't depend on how aware you are. It doesn't weaken when you rest, so nothing here requires your vigilance. Nothing here needs your control. You can let your shoulders drop, let your jaw soften, let your breathing slow without trying to guide it, because you are not responsible for holding the night together. What surrounds you is already holding that. And as everything becomes quieter, there's a different kind of calm that can begin to settle in. Not something you create, not something you force. It arrives when you stop trying to hold everything in place, because the mind keeps searching for clarity, for answers, for something solid to stand on. But peace doesn't always come from knowing more. Sometimes it comes when you stop needing to know right now. So the thoughts that keep circling, they don't have to disappear. They can just move further away, less sharp, less urgent, like background noise that no longer asks for your attention. And in that space, your heart can settle, your body can follow, not because everything makes sense, but because you're no longer resisting what hasn't unfolded yet. And that kind of peace, it doesn't depend on the situation changing. It rests underneath it, holding you steady even when things are still unclear. And as you stay here, there may be parts of you that haven't had space to rest in a long time. Not just your body, but the quieter parts that carry more than you show. The tension you got used to, the tiredness that never fully leaves, the places that kept going even when they needed to pause. They're still there, and they don't need to be pushed aside tonight. They can begin to soften, slowly, without being forced. Because not everything heals through effort. Some things restore when they're finally allowed to rest, so you don't have to fix anything. You don't have to figure out how to make it better. Just stay and let something deeper begin to settle into those places, not all at once. Just enough for this moment, because even now, rest is doing more than you realize. And as that softness begins to spread, your body doesn't have to stay in that tight place anymore. The small tensions you stop noticing, they can begin to release. Not all at once, just enough to feel the difference. Your breathing can move more freely. Your shoulders don't have to stay lifted. Your chest doesn't have to hold that quiet pressure. And deeper than that, the parts of you that stayed alert all day, they can finally step back. You don't have to stay ready. You don't have to keep bracing. Even your thoughts can begin to drift differently. Not pulled forward, not trying to solve. Just loosening. And as you rest, something else begins to restore. Quietly, steadily, without needing your effort. What felt scattered can begin to settle. What felt heavy can begin to lighten. And even in your sleep, there can be moments that feel different. More still, more clear. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed yourself to finally rest. And as you begin to drift, the night doesn't become empty. It becomes quieter, more open. There's a different kind of awareness that can meet you here, not through effort, but through stillness. When everything slows down enough, you may begin to sense what you couldn't hear during the day. Not in words, not in something loud. Just a knowing. A quiet clarity that doesn't need to explain itself. And you don't have to chase it. You don't have to try to hold on to it. It comes when you're no longer reaching. So as you rest, you can stay open, not actively searching, just available. Because there are things that only meet you in stillness. Moments that don't arrive when your mind is busy. But when it softens, and even if you don't remember it, something can still settle within you. Something that stays when you wake and gently shifts how you step into tomorrow. And as the night holds you here, you don't have to keep reaching into tomorrow. You don't have to keep checking what hasn't happened yet. The part of you that wants to stay in control, that keeps trying to prepare for every outcome, it can finally rest too, because not everything needs to be managed before it arrives. Some things are already shifting without your effort. Things you can't see, things you can't track. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It just means you're not the one holding it together. So the weight you've been carrying forward, you don't have to take it with you into the next day. You can leave it here, not because it disappears, but because it's no longer yours to carry alone. And when morning comes, you don't have to step into it with tension already waiting. You don't have to walk forward bracing yourself for everything that could go wrong. There's another way to enter it, quieter, more grounded. Not because everything is certain, but because you don't need certainty to take the next step. You don't have to see the whole path. You don't have to map it out. You can move forward, one step at a time. And that step, it doesn't have to come from fear. It doesn't have to come from pressure. It can come from trust. A quiet trust that you are not walking into tomorrow by yourself. That what meets you there will meet you when you arrive. Not all at once, just enough for where you are, and that is enough to move forward without shrinking back. And even as things shift, even when parts of life don't stay the same, there is something that doesn't move, not based on outcomes, not affected by how the day went. It doesn't rise when things feel right. It doesn't disappear when things feel uncertain. It stays. Through the moments you felt steady and the ones you didn't know what to do with, through what made sense and what still doesn't. Nothing about that presence pulls away from you. Nothing about it waits for you to get everything right. It doesn't depend on how strong you feel or how prepared you are. It remains the same. So even when tomorrow shifts, even when things unfold in ways you didn't expect, you are not stepping into something that can take that away. And that changes how you move forward. Not because everything is certain, but because something steady is still holding you within it. And from here, you don't have to keep holding on the same way. Not everything needs your grip to stay in place. Some things are meant to be released, not lost, just no longer carried by you alone. So what's ahead? What you've been trying to prepare for, you can loosen your hold on it, not because it doesn't matter, but because it doesn't depend only on you. You don't have to force your way forward. You don't have to push until something opens. You can allow yourself to be guided step by step without needing to rush. And even if you don't see how it all connects yet, you can trust that it is already held together. So tonight, you don't have to hold tomorrow in your hands. You can leave it here, safely, completely. And as we stay here together, we bring this moment into something deeper. God, you see what we've been carrying today, not just what was visible, but the parts we didn't say out loud, the quiet weight, the pressure we kept inside, the thoughts that kept returning even when we tried to let them go. You see all of it. Nothing is hidden from you. Nothing has been missed. So we don't have to hold it alone anymore. We place it here, gently, without needing to explain it perfectly. What feels unfinished, what still feels uncertain, what we don't know how to fix, we bring it as it is. And in this moment, we ask for something simple, not answers, not control, just a sense of being held, a quiet assurance that we are not alone in this, that even now there is care surrounding us that doesn't pull away. And as we stay in this moment, we don't have to rush out of it. God, we trust that nothing we've placed here is being ignored. Nothing is slipping away. Nothing is left unattended. Even the parts we don't fully understand, you are already there, so we don't have to hold on to them through the night. We don't have to keep checking. We don't have to stay awake to make sure everything will be okay. We can rest, not because everything is clear, but because we are not carrying it alone. And even as we begin to let go, there is a quiet reassurance that stays with us. We are not forgotten. We are not left behind. We are not outside of your care. So as this night continues, we remain here, covered, held, steady, and we allow ourselves to rest in that. In Jesus' name, Amen. And now, as everything continues to quiet down, rest becomes something deeper than just sleep. It becomes trust, not something you have to build, not something you have to hold on to, just something that gently settles in. When you stop trying to carry everything through the night, because even now, nothing you've placed here has been lost, nothing has been overlooked, nothing has slipped out of care, so your body doesn't have to stay alert. Your mind doesn't have to keep reaching forward. You can just soften. And if this moment feels like something your heart might come back to, you can subscribe to Grace in Your Quiet, just to keep a space like this nearby. For nights when things feel heavy again, you don't have to decide anything right now. It's just there. And as you stay here a little longer, you might begin to notice some of the smallest things feel different. You're breathing a little slower, your body a little lighter, not because everything changed, but because you're not holding it the same way anymore. Even the quiet moments throughout your life, they carry something. The breath you didn't think about, the strength that got you through the day, the simple places you were held without noticing. None of that is small. It's part of how you were carried into this moment. And as you rest tonight, there is still movement happening, quietly, without pressure, without noise, things you don't have to track, things you don't have to manage. So you don't have to stay awake to make sure everything will be okay. You can let go of that. And as you sleep, there can be a deeper kind of restoration. Not forced, not rushed, just something that unfolds while you're no longer trying to hold everything together. So when morning comes, you may notice something subtle, not everything different, but something inside you, steadier, more grounded, less pulled in every direction. And not because you solved everything, but because you stopped carrying it alone. And that changes how you step forward. You don't have to rush. You don't have to prove anything. You can move from something quieter, something that doesn't panic, something that doesn't tighten, something that trusts. And even now, as sleep comes closer, you can rest in this. You are not unseen. You are not forgotten. You are not outside of care. Nothing about you has been missed. You are held more completely than you realize, so you can let your body follow what your spirit has already done. You've released it. You've placed it down. And you don't have to pick it back up tonight. Just stay here a little longer. Let everything continue to soften. Let the quiet deepen, and let sleep come gently.